Good evening. Coming up in Mello TV Evening News tonight, Union expressed concern over the excessive delays in concluding investigations involving firefighters. Jamaica Constabulary Force makes urgent appeal to the public for blood following shooting of a police officer in Spanish Town. And delays for motorists using the Charlton Ford in St. Andrew this weekend. And now the news in detail. The leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, claims that the finance minister's declaration of no new taxes during last week's opening of the budget debate presentation rang hollow. Mr. Golding says over the two fiscal years, 2021 to 2022 and 2022 to 2023, the government collected an additional $208 billion in taxes, or a total increase of 34% over what was predicted.
Many Jamaicans who believe in the democratic system of local government that is now enshrined in our constitution since 2015 are frustrated and upset by the government once again using its majority in parliament to subvert democracy by pushing through last-minute legislation to again put back the local government elections. Now 3 years overdue on totally spurious grounds, because they are afraid to face the people. And what is worse, Madam Speaker, the government's fiscal policy paper says it is collecting $766 billion of taxes from the people for this coming fiscal year. $766 billion in taxes. That is $150 billion or more than 24% than the $616 billion it collected in the prior year, 2022.
Mr. Golding argued that the 34% increase in taxes collected over the past two fiscal years is significantly greater than the accumulated inflation over that of two-year period, which is projected to be 12.3%.
The 34%, $208 billion increase in taxes over the past two fiscal years is significantly greater, nearly triple the accumulated inflation over the two-year period, which is projected to be 12.3%, 7.1% in 22-23 and 5.2% in 23-24, totaling 12.3%. So we have 34% increase in taxes. Inflation is just 12.3% over that period. It comes as well in a period where people's standard of living is being ravaged by the cost of living increases. So the cost of living bite the people and the taxes suck out them blood.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force is this evening making an urgent appeal for blood donation after one of its officers was shot today. This afternoon, Inspector Donovan Cassels of the St. Catherine North Division was shot while using an ATM on Old Harbour Road in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Inspector Cassels was taken by ambulance to the Spanish Town General Hospital, where he is receiving care. According to reports, sometime around noon, the policeman was at the ATM when he was ambushed by gunmen who opened fire. The officer was struck in the region of the hip. His assailants made off and the injured officer was transferred to hospital. In the meantime, a Manchester businessman was shot and killed yesterday at Tollgate in Clarendon and another man injured. 67-year-old Jerome Bassier, a resident of McKinley Heights in Mandeville, Manchester, has been named as the deceased. According to the police, Bassier and the other man were having a conversation along Decoy Road around 10 p.m. when two males approached them and opened fire, hitting them. The police were summoned and both men were taken to hospital, where Bassier was declared dead. The shooting is being investigated by the police. Another businessman was shot last Sunday in Palmer's Cross, Clarendon. As of March 11, there have been a total of 21 homicides in Clarendon, which is a 91% rise over the 11 homicides during the same period in 2022. 5 men, which include a St. Catherine wanted man, have been taken into custody following the seizure of a firearm and several rounds of ammunition at Pear Tree Bottom in Runaway Bay, St. Anne on Tuesday, March 14. Reports from the St. Anne's Bay Police are that around 5:35 a.m., a team of officers conducted a targeted operation in the area where several premises were searched. 23-year-old Kevin Fletcher, otherwise called Tippy, of Lindsay St. Catherine, who was featured on the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Wanted Wednesday campaign, was subsequently found in possession of a 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 3 rounds. 4 other suspects were taken into custody. However, their identities are being withheld pending further investigations. The island security forces have re-erected their joint police and military checkpoints across all 4 western parishes in St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland and Trelawney due to the recent rise in muggings that have been affecting the area, one police division. The state of public emergency was necessary due to the recent weeks, which have seen an increase in murders in all 4 western parishes, particularly in St. James and Westmoreland, according to the head of the Parish Command and Area 1 Command, Officer Vernon Ellis. The parish of St. James reported 5 killings in 6 days last week. The parish of Westmoreland also reported several murders. Trelawney has also been shaken by a series of needless homicides, including the gun murder of a 2-year-old boy on Sunday. While Hanover, which has historically recorded the fewest murders, is now the only parish in the area that is ahead in murders since the start of the year. Motorists utilizing Charlton Avenue in St. Andrew will experience delays over the next few days as rehabilitation works are underway to correct defects to the concrete pad. Beginning at 8 a.m. on Saturday, March 18, access to Hillman Road from the Charlton Road will be restricted to facilitate the pouring of concrete. Motorists wishing to travel north along Constant Spring Road should turn left on Charlton Avenue, then left onto Spanish Town Road, right onto Mannings Hill Road, then right onto Saxthorpe Avenue. Stephen Shaw of the National Works Agency highlighted that the works are part of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation's Maintenance of Secondary Roadways 2022 program at a value of $11.5 million. Motorists are advised to exercise caution, obey warning signs, and the instructions of flag persons.
So the NAA will be resuming activities along the Charlton Road come tomorrow, Thursday, March 16. We are in the process of repairing the ford, which is critical to persons accessing this corridor. Now, come Saturday, we are going to be ramping up the activities, and as a result, there is going to be some restrictions in the movement of vehicular traffic, and the restrictions will be in effect to facilitate the pouring of concrete as part of the rehabilitative process. Now, what will happen is that motorists wishing to travel north along Constant Spring Road will have to turn left onto Charlton Avenue, then left onto Constant Spring Road, then right onto Mannings Hill Road, then right onto Saxthorpe Avenue to go back onto Constant Spring Road. The motorists may also use Allardyce Drive back onto Olivier Road and then onto Constant Spring Road. The activities are part of a program of works that is being financed through the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and this particular bit of work is being done at a cost of $11.5 million.
Additionally, the National Works Agency is investing more than $86 million to rehabilitate 6 congested roads in a number of parishes, including Ferris Cross, Municipal Boulevard, the Old Harbour Roundabout, Spur Tree, Whitney Turn to Trinity in Clarendon, and Buff Bay. The initiative will include lane markers, guardrails, and the repainting of pedestrian crossings. The excessive delay in conducting investigations involving firefighters remain a major concern for the union, according to General Secretary of the Jamaica Association of Local Government Officers, Helene Davis-White. Mrs. Davis-White's comments comes in light of Sergeant Leo Bennett's one-man protest yesterday against firefighters' working conditions on top of the Halfway Tree Transportation Center in St. Andrew. According to the Brigade, Mr. Bennett violated regulations by staging a demonstration which resulted in his suspension. The regulations governing the firemen, according to Mrs. Davis-White, do not specify a time limit for those proceedings, which helps to explain how Sergeant Bennett and other firefighters were able to be suspended for almost a year without having a hearing.
The regulations of the Fire Brigade Act does not stipulate a time frame within which these investigations should be conducted and charges laid. What I do know in Sergeant Bennett's case, though, is that he has been charged, and I think there were at least 2 hearing dates that were set, but his attorney asked for them to be rescheduled. The 6 firefighters, they are all members of JALGO. I'm told by my delegates in the field, and they have to date not been charged. The Fire Brigade claims to still be investigating, and so they have not been charged. This is an issue that we have raised over the years, and we have asked for the regulations to be amended to include a time frame, but that has not yet been done. But, you know, in the way of how industrial relations operates, we continue to make the representation until we are successful.
Another issue that was expressed by Sergeant Bennett regarding the availability of suitable decontamination and cleaning facilities for firefighters. In this respect, Mrs. Davis-White added that the situation was being handled.
Last I recall is that the Fire Brigade was in the process of being able to establish at fire stations decontamination, if you may want to call it that, areas where when they come back from fires, they would be hosed down, or my term, because I am the layperson, but that they would have this area where they could be decontaminated, so to speak. And then in addition, we also have an agreement, and I think they have started now to implement, where at each fire station you would have industrial washing machines so that they don't have to carry these bunker gear home to be cleaned. The truth of the matter is that if you have been operating in the public sector for the past how many years, within the context of wage freeze and no money, we have had to actually been fighting tooth and nail to be able to get allocations in place for things like these. We have started to succeed in some areas because, as I said, we did get the allocation for the washing machines to be provided, and they had started putting in place these decontamination areas.
Despite a post being present in the Charles Gordon Market in Montego Bay, St. James, a number of sellers and customers there and nearby claim that thieves and robbers frequently target them. Market vendors and shop owners have bitterly complained that criminals who frequently break into their stalls and well-known pickpocketers are robbing them of cash and goods on a daily basis. The unhappy merchants claim that although there is a police station near the market, no policemen are working there every day, leaving them defenseless against the burglars. The sellers, who did not want to be recorded, expressed their fear about their safety, and that robbers with knives and illegal firearms usually cause mayhem and terror among customers and vendors on weekends in the early mornings or late afternoons. Senior police officer confirmed to Mello TV News that they are aware of several of these robberies and that oftentimes the victims choose not to file a formal complaint with the police. And those are the stories making the news this evening. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News. I'm Nicole Hales. Stay safe and thanks for watching.